Once again, good afternoon, Dhamma friends. Warm welcome to everyone who are participating for the first time. And good to see everybody who have been participating. How many of you are newcomers today? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Not a good number, right? Yeah, in Buddhism we have no problem with the numbers. So just to tell you what we've been doing in the last, I think four sessions. We started this class in April, and now this is the 5th class. We have chosen a book called Dhammapada. So the reason why we picked this Dhammapada book is that Dhammapada gives the overall teachings of the Buddha in one book. Okay, if you go to a sutta, perhaps you have to learn many suttas to come to this understanding. And I told our other already coming regular ones that these verses, stanzas, they are not new stanzas. They are coming in the suttas. They are not new ones. So then that means when you learn Dhammapada, indirectly what it means is that you learn many suttas. For you, it will be very easy for you to deal with the suttas. So that is one reason. Second reason is that Dhammapada is our handbook. Whether you come from any background, Dhammapada, background of Buddhism, Dhammapada is the main text for you to elaborate on the Buddha's teachings, right? Not those individual suttas, because Digha Nikaya has 34 suttas. The Sutta Pitaka, and Majjhima Nikaya has 152 suttas, and Anguttara Nikaya has 7,700-ish suttas, and Sangyutta Nikaya has 9,500-ish suttas. And Khuddaka Nikaya, now the section which Dhammapada is a part of, has almost 1,000, close to 1,000 sutta. So do you think you will be able to finish all this before you pass away one day? I don't think. That's why you learn Dhammapada. And then you will pick up some of the very important, all are important, but some of the very comprehensive suttas from the Sutta Pitaka. Okay, that is enough for the introduction. So now we have, what is happening here is that you can see this book, Dhammapada, has 26 chapters. How many? 26 chapters. And then at the same time, it has 123 verses, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see. 123 verses. Yeah, it's a lot. So you will read. So we have started the first chapter now. The first chapter is called Yamaka Vagga. Okay, what is it called? Yamaka. Yamaka means twin. That means first stanza talks about something not good. Second stanza talks about the good side of that. How to be a good person from the wrong side, which is said in the first stanza. So now today we are going to learn about this 6 verses 7 and 8. So when you click on this, you should be going there. I think we have to manually go there because I made it. Yes. Okay, this is the stanza. Very nice person, right? Eating and sleeping. Right? Lots of bananas and many things there. But don't know why there is a skull looking at him. Right? Alright, let us read this stanza. All of us. Dhammapada, stanza 7. Subhanu viharantang indriyesu asangvutang Bhojanang hi chamattang yung kusitang hina viriyang tangve pasahati maru vato rukhang dubbalang. And then the next one, easy for us to continue. The good one. Asubhanu passing viharantang indriyesu susangmutang bhojanam hicha mattanyung saddhang aradha viriyang tangve nappasahati maru vato selangva pabbatang. So what is number one happiness here? When we read a stanza like this, especially these stanzas, we are reading a stanza given by the Buddha by himself. This stanza was given by the Buddha, so we are now rereading it, right? Alright, so Subhanu passing viharantang indriyesu asangutang bhojanam hi amattanyu kusitang hina viriyang tangve pasahati maru vato rukhang dubbalang. So now the Buddha is talking about an individual whose life is spiritually messy. So not a good one. So the first one is Subhanupassing viharantang. So there is somebody, sometimes we have to look at a better translation about this from this book. Subhanupassing viharantang, there is someone who is living always looking at the pleasant side of the life. So anupassing means looking, subha means pleasant aspect, pleasant objects all the time. Pleasant objects. Are we like that? Are we always looking for good food, nice texture, nice people, pretty people, handsome people, nice movie? There's no moment that we lose this word nice, pretty, good, right? I think most of the people going to be a part of it in the first place, right? But the issue is Subhanu passing viharantang. There is someone who's always, continuously, consistently wanting to look at these things, right? Sometimes when that person is to see an unpleasant thing, this person can even blame other people. I didn't want to see that, right? I really don't like it, but I had to see it. Perhaps the person is in conflict with what he or she is seeing, maybe hearing, maybe smelling, tasting, touching, and then thinking. So now you understand, this is a person who is always on the search for pleasant things. It doesn't mean someone who is going through pleasant things, not with an effort. There are some people who are always naturally enjoying life. They are not looking for the things, right? They are naturally enjoying sights, sounds, smell, taste, touch, thought. Why is it? They have done good karmas in past life, right? It's very interesting. So, in some places of the Buddhist text, they are talking for someone to be able to see a very nice panoramic, very breathtaking view is also good karma, right? That means, let's say you are able to go to the top of the mountain, you see a nice panoramic around you. When you see that, you feel very clear about the landscape. But some people don't like to see that. Some people don't want to see that, right? Why should I see that? I see from the bottom, right? I don't like to go traveling. I don't like to see that. So that means being able to see the clarity of the landscape, clarity of anything. It can be anything. It's also good karma, right? I remember there were two people quarreling each other. They got a nice house. One person got the master bedroom, the other person got the second room. The master bedroom person is always complaining. Why? The afternoon sun coming to master bedroom. But it's a nice master bedroom with a bathtub, everything. But the second room is nicely located. It's not that big. Nicely located. When the person is opening the blinds, what he or she sees is a nice miniature horse. Like you see a barn, like nice, a miniature, miniature horse, the small one, a beautiful one. See, and the sun also not coming to that side that much. See, you're not able to get that master bedroom, but you got this room, but you have the happiness more than that person. Sometimes life is like this. Different people's karmas are bearing food differently. It's not always someone who has lots of money and lots of things. Right? So that's why that is not the point here. The point here is someone who is always looking for these things. Right? So that will become an obsession. That will become some sort of an akusala. Second, indriyesu asangutang. Indriya means, what are the indriyas? Faculties. What faculties are they? Science faculty, medicine, management, is it? What faculties are they? Sense faculties. What are the sense faculties? Eye is a faculty. Nose is a faculty. We take the faculty part. Eye, ears, then nose, tongue, body, mind. So they are the faculties. So whatever the things that are coming to those faculties are called as objects. Right? So the problem here is that there is someone whose faculties as such are not very calmed down or maybe restrained. Asangutang. How do we know someone's faculties are not restrained enough? Always taken away by other things. Right? Any example? Any example? You go to internet, you see a video, and then you see another video, another video, another video, another video, and then after 4 hours you have not watched anything good, but going after one video, second video, third video, right? Yes, incessant desire to search. There's no problem to go and watch a video, but that obsession with the things, right? So that is one type of unrestrained senses. And what about the food? How do we know someone is not restrained in food? Travel many kilometers, but that is not the problem. There's a durian farm, right? But the problem is someone thinks that without durian today I'm not going to sleep. It's a very obsessive thing and troubling everybody around. Take me over there. I want to see Musang King durian, right? So it's kind of an obsession with that. And what about other things? Sound. Yeah, touch, right? Touch. Nice touch. Yeah, shopping is also can be an obsession. But shopping is a good experience, right? Sometimes people go to the mall and they don't want to buy, but they see people watching. Do the people watching, how people buy things, right? That's kind of a happiness. And do kind of a walking, not just stay home all the time, right? It's kind of boring too. But how does someone get trapped as unrestrained faculty with regard to shopping? Is that the person cannot manage oneself what to buy, what not to buy, and how soon I'm going to buy, and how late I'm going to buy. As an interesting example, someone is going to buy a lawnmower. This is a Western kind of example. This is the summer, maybe the spring, and it's expensive for that person's budget at that point. And now it's expensive. So now the time went by. By winter time, Now this was in July, and now this is going to be February, maybe the peak of the winter, February or January. Now he or she is going to the mall, and when you go into certain shops, electric shops, electronics, you see that the first aisle is going to be clearance, right? Because they want to let go those things. Now the person saw the $4,000 lawnmower has come to the clearance and half price now, 2,000-ish. Somebody gave a list of things to buy from the shop. Now forget about that. Because lawnmower is there, right? It's 2,000. And then now feel I want to buy this because that time it's 4,000 now 2,000, right? That's why when you are really not restraining yourself, there are things that are really troubling you that you never know how they're going to trouble you, right? So finally the person perhaps going to end up buying that thing because it is in the clearance. Of course the person wants to buy the lawnmower, there's no problem. But I'm telling you how mind works. What if the person has so many fancy thoughts about buying? So the person might get stuck in the clearance thing. That's why clearance is always near the checkout. So like you want to buy candy, lollipop, right? It's like you feel it, like maybe because nowadays it's good that we don't have cash, right? But there's another problem. You buy your gas from the credit card over buying gas by using cash. When you spend cash, you feel it, right? You feel it. You take out from the envelope or the purse. But when you pay from the credit card, you don't feel it, right? That's the mindset. You just keep spending. And finally, you forget about something very important, that money in the credit card is not your money, right? It's a bank's money. And the bank tells you, don't worry, if you cannot pay, just pay the minimum balance. It's $10. So after many months, now this is going to increase with the interest increases, and then somebody might not be able to pay back. It might be more than the salary, couple salaries. That's why use the credit, use the debit wisely. Because that's a very interesting teaching from the Buddha. Buddha talks about financial teachings. I'm going to have a workshop about this in another center in July. Financial wisdom given by the Buddha. One-day workshop. It's going to be having at BGF in July. So this is one of the workshops I'm doing to understand what did the Buddha say about money, wealth management, saving, investment, and how not to get trapped with this money, credit culture and all that, right? So, this is one problem. We are not really restrained. It doesn't mean that if you have money, you cannot buy. You can buy, but buy wisely, shop wisely, right? Okay, so Indri, it's not even about the shopping culture. It's about everything other than that. Maybe buying perfume, right? Other habits too, yeah? Drinking, what else? Yeah, although bad habits too. And then, what else? Even thoughts. Sometimes we get addicted to certain habits. We just want to kill the time. Right? We don't know, like we get addicted to that naturally. So that means we have to manage our loneliness, those things too. Otherwise we don't know, in that loneliness, in that boredom, we may have got trapped into certain other habits. Maybe oversharing, as you said, gossiping, maybe picking on other people, right? So many things. So much to think about. So what you need to understand is that this is not a good habit. When your sense faculties are not going to be restrained, it's not a good habit. Third, it's more dangerous than first two. Of course, it's part of it. Bhojanam hi amattanyam. Bhojanam means food. We can add F&B, food and beverages, in this bhojanam hi. Amattanyam. Mattanyam means moderation. Now here, amattan. When someone doesn't have any moderation with regard to food and beverage, right? There are people who try to control their mind, but they don't, of course, control their food habits. Actually, Buddhism teaches us managing, taking care of us. So moderation in food and beverage is very important. That is a Buddhist thing. So how to look for the moderation with regard to the food and beverages? How to do that? It is very different from one person to another. We cannot make a one fix kind of an idea. But what you need to know with regard to that? Eat in moderation. And then, yeah, can you give me an example how to eat in moderation in your own way? What are the things that we have to consider with regard to the food, eating habits? So we have something called compulsive eating habits. This is one very interesting area. So why do we sometimes eat a lot on certain days? Sometimes some people every day. Stress is one issue. Stress is one issue. I can see. All right. Yeah, I had an article about it. I wrote some time ago. Dispositional mindfulness and eating behaviors. This is a bit of a clinical aspect. I don't know whether we can go there. Yeah, this one. I mean, if you are interested, you can read. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, dispositional mindfulness and eating behaviors, conceptual and clinical considerations. So, I mean, things like people get trapped in their eating habits, drinking habits, and finally, and there are certain recommendations with regard to eating habits from a clinical perspective, a little bit of Buddhism as well. Okay, just wanted to share something. One issue is compulsive eating. Actually, people put blame on others with regard to eating out of stress. But one very interesting thing about this compulsive eating habits is that many people want to eat very fast in today's world. So they are going to rely on fast food, which are really tasty as well, to be honest. We have to accept that. Very tastier than a nutritious, organic shop. They are saying very expensive good, but when you eat, you don't like it, Very expensive. But the fast food culture, all the fast food items are very tasty. So, one issue is that when you eat fast food, it's easy to buy, and you don't want to spend a lot of time to eat the fast food. You don't know whether you ate it also after that. And then what will happen is that you will get hungry very fast as well. When you eat fast food, you buy fast food, you eat fast, and you get hungry again very fast too. Then what will happen? Again buy fast food. So that means we have to look at the nutritional perspective about this subject. It is not only the stress people are driven onto this area. It is because, what if someone is eating the breakfast and then only the lunch and supper or dinner and not eating a lot in between? We have to not blame that person who is not able to do that, because you have craving to do that. Actually, what's happened is that not even the craving, but also the food that person eats could be very nutritional. More protein, less carbo, and whatever other nutritional value stuff. So that is very important to understand. That means to be able to eat a balanced diet with enough nutritional values is very important. I think our younger generation don't get to that. Of course, I mean, you go to universities, you go to colleges, their canteens are full of fast food. This is the future of the world. And eating all the fast food. And studying how to be better people. That's very interesting, right? Inside the campus, they want to study how to be better, how to make a better world. But what they are eating is fast food. Right? So they are not going to get those nutritional things. So it's not the craving that people, only that people going to go after these things. It also, what you call, not being able to understand the nutritional aspects of the food. You try to eat something like that with nutritional value, morning until noon, you might not be able to eat anything between that time, right? And also from lunch to supper, dinner time. This is one thing, okay? Second thing is that, what you call, craving, right? You are not satisfied. And what are the other issues with regard to not being able to moderate one's own food and beverage habits? Addiction to certain food. Nothing, huh? Even cannot even get up from the bed, right? No coffee, nothing is going to work, right? And then what else? Addiction to certain things. What else? Like foodie stuff, right? Yes. Yeah. So that means, I mean, watching a video about someone cooking something, making something could be normal in today's world. But the thing is that when you are going to be very much fascinated by that, and on top of that, going after something could be another issue, right? Any other problems why people cannot eat in moderation? A buffet culture. That's interesting one. Yes. So I don't know who, I think somebody will find lots of blame on this person who found this buffet culture, right? Not eating the breakfast, not eating the dinner, and aiming for this late, right? In that middle thing, eating as much as you can, right? So certain food cultures, buffet culture. Yes, yes. Oh, that's a trick as well, right? Because it's always about how much I spend. So I have to be a part of that. Yes, justify, and they are happy only when they can eat that much. When you get out of the restaurant, today I eat more than I spend, right? But then experience what you're going to go through, right? In that way. Sometimes buffet food are not very nutritional, right? All the leftovers, right? That is also not good quality, right? It's not like a la carte food, right? I mean, the quality and value. What to do, different people carry different affordability things. Okay, so anyway, you need to moderate your food habits, drinking habits. Kusitang hina virya. Kusitang, very lazy, right? How do we know someone is very lazy? Kusitang. Not moving. Also, postponing everything. Postponing. Now it's very hot. I cannot do anything. Maybe later. Later, it's too windy outside. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow raining. Maybe another day. Another day? Something else. So what will happen? The person will not be able to do anything. That's why it's very important to promise to ourselves I'm going to do it no matter what. Right? Like that, you make the determination to come here. No matter what, I'm going to join this class. I learned something out of it. I'm not enjoying the fruits of this, not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe one day. Postpone that way. Sometimes postpone your expectations. Right? Postpone the expectations. So that way, you are going to understand how you can be lazy in your life. One thing is postponing. Another thing is not being positive also. Sometimes there are people not positive. Is it very important to be positive in today's world? We need to be positive. Why? Lots of suffering outside. Right? Lots of problems can come to us anytime. Family problems, money problems, health problems, attitude problems, clashes, global problems. So what will help us to manage those issues? To be able to be inspired. So we want to be around Kalyana Mittas. If a Kalyana Mitta says, Kalyana Mitta tries to demotivate you, life is anicca, you need to accept that. That might not be a good approach to go for it. Kalyana Mitta should try to tell the positive side of anything. Right? It's like we go back to the English idiom, when one door closed, another door open somewhere. Opportunities are everywhere, abundant. The problem is, we don't find them. We think only one opportunity is there. Right? So, I remember in one of my talks recently in somewhere, somebody said, I asked, why did someone from a different non-Buddhist background, now he became a Buddhist. I said, why you became a Buddhist? Because I was in a certain other religious background, and I donated money to the place, and then the priest took that money, went for the holiday. I said, okay, that's your reason. Huh? And then on the same day we heard something, one Thai monk got a jackpot winner, 17 million Thai baht. If you go to that temple, you will also go to another temple. But you are not happy about it. So don't change your philosophy because of who uphold the values of that institution. Don't depend on those people. Just go on your own journey. Right? Otherwise, you are not going to be really motivated. So when you see something not good, even in that place, you will again change to another place. You are changing places. Just like some other people, they are changing people all the time. Sometimes relationship, sometimes workplace. Right? So that means more what you call positive nature. Positive mind is very important as a Buddhist. Actually, some people, the more they learn, the more they become negative. Have you seen that? What happened with sutta study people, meditation people, Why are you so negative, You're coming to study Dhamma. But we are telling positivity from Buddhism. It's not my teaching, it's the Buddha's teaching. Actually, what the Buddha is trying to teach us through the dukkha is positivity. Only when you know that, you will be positive. As long as you don't know it, you'll be negative. But some people only take one small aspect of the teaching and then think life is suffering, Then you have to ask, so then your practice also suffering, right? One day, it's also anicca, right? So you have to see the brighter side of everything, positive side of everything. That is what Buddhism is. Now, when you are following like that, you become a very positive person to yourself, to other people. Right? It's like somebody got a parking ticket, park at a wrong place. I know one person. And then a lot of people, they say some wrong things to the person who did that. Say, okay, dana to the council. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good way, He came back, he parked at the wrong place. Okay, and check it. Okay, dana for the council. That's a good thing, So you only do dana for the monks and nuns with a happy mind. Now this is a negative moment. You made a wrong thing. You didn't know where the parking spot was. Right? So you are happily, and then at the same time, he transferred to touch and go. That's it. done, already done. Let's go now. That is the positive attitude. Not carrying who did that to me today? I lost that money. Right? One thing is a lesson. Other thing is how to recover from that activity. So that kusitang not only means that you are lazy, but also your attitude. Your negative attitude, your attitude not to recover. Actually, in modern world, we use a word called resilience. That is a very interesting word that we know everywhere. Some people say bouncing back, right? And hina viryang, no energy. Viryam is energy, no energy. Is energy very important to us? It's very important. If you have no energy, even you know a lot of Dhamma, that is not going to support you. Why? No energy. How do you know that you have no energy? Meditating and then dozing off. Okay. And then you are sitting, you don't want to stand. Very easy, right? You are sleeping, you don't want to wake up. You woke up. You have to get up. You don't want to get up. Maybe tired. That is something specific if it is. And then what else? No energy. You are watching videos. You don't want to stop it. Why? No energy to stop it. High energy to watch the video. No energy to stop it and change on to another one. That's why energy is very important. Even when you are going to stop your akusala activity, you need energy. Sometimes know it is akusala but cannot do anything because you don't bring enough effort to stop it. You know you are gossiping now but don't want to. Maybe you don't want to. You don't know how to stop it. You don't really create an effort to stop it. You say, I know it's oversharing, but what to do? You should know this. Right? And then oversharing. It finally become a very professional gossiper, Okay, so hina viryang, no energy. So now, always looking for the pleasant objects. And then no restraint, no calmness with regard to one's sense faculties. No moderation with regard to the food, beverage habits. No energy, lazy and no energy. So this kind of a person can be overthrown. That means tangve pasahati maru. Maru means, who is Mara? Temptations. Our temptations, like we have temptations, right? What are the temptations we have? The same, the objects of the same faculties. Sights, sounds, smell, taste, touch. So they are temptations. So what is happening to us when we are like this? Which side is going to be more powerful? Our side or the temptation side? Temptation side. They are going to be more powerful. When temptations are more powerful, that means Mara is more powerful in your life with regard to what he wants us to do, what he wants, right? Who would like us to be in the samsara existence? Mara likes us to be in the samsara, right? So that's something very interesting. And then how does Mara overthrow us? It's just like as wind, how wind overthrows a tree of less strength, little strength. Dubbalang rukkam. All right. Okay, so we have a story. I think we have a couple pages, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us ask our Dhamma friends to read the story. So we will start this time from where? Maybe from here. Yeah, here. Where you want to start?
What is that? Read?
Yeah, read. You can read.
All right.
Until here, congregation.
Okay.
Start from here. Sloth defeats.
Sloth defeats spirituality, and spiritual strength is undefeatable. 1:6. The story of monk Mahakala, verses 7 and 8. While residing in the neighborhood of the town of Setavya, the Buddha uttered these verses with reference to Mahakala and his brother Chulakala. For Chulakala, Majjhima Kala and Mahakala were three householders who lived in Setava, and they were brothers. Chulakala and Mahakala, the oldest and youngest respectively, used to travel abroad with their caravan of 500 carts and bring home goods to sell. And Majjhima Kala sold the goods they brought. Now, on a certain occasion, the two brothers, taking wares of various kinds in their 500 carts, set out for Savatthi, and halting between Savatthi and Jetavana, unharnessed their carts. In the evening, Mahakala saw noble disciples, residents of Savatthi, with garlands and perfumes in their hands, going to hear the law. Where are they going? He asked. Receiving the answer that they were going to hear the law, he thought to himself, I will go too. So he addressed his youngest brother, Dear brother, keep watch over the carts. I'm going to hear the law. So saying, he went and paid obeisance to the Buddha and sat down in the outer circle of the congregation.
Okay, great. So now what is happening here is that there were three brothers who are called Mahakala, Majjhima Kala and Chula Kala. Mahakala is the eldest, and the middle one is Majjhima Kala, and the youngest one is called Chula Kala. So what happened was that they were the first and the last one, the eldest and the youngest, they were doing some business by selling goods by going abroad. And the Majjhima Kala, when they were bringing goods into the city, he is selling them and making some other income as well. So what happened on those trips, at a certain point, Mahakala met certain devotees of the Buddha who were going to listen to Dhamma talks, and then he wanted to listen to those Dhamma talks. Right? This is what. Now here law means Dhamma, okay? So this is a very bit older translation published in the early 90s. Sometimes they translated in a very technical, literal format, but I'm going to say. Alright, so then the next one will be read by, who will be reading? Okay. On that day until monastery. So 2 paras, yeah. On that day.
On that day, the teacher preached the law in orderly sequence with reference to Mahakala's disposition of mind, and quoting the sutta on the aggregate of suffering and other suttas. Discourse on the sinfulness and folly and contamination of sensual pleasures. Mahakala, after listening to the discourse, became a monk under the teacher. Chulakala likewise became a monk, but the thought in Chulakala's mind was, after a time, I will return to the world and take my brother with me.
Okay, give me a second. So you will read the next para too. Now what happened on that day, Buddha was giving a Dhamma talk about Dukkha Kanda, aggregate. Now I'm going to write it here. This means Dukkha is pain, Kanda. That means what you call aggregate of is that Dukkha Kanda. Actually, Dukkha Kanda means the Paticca Samuppada way of explaining Dukkha. Normally we explain Dukkha as Jatipi Dukkha, birth is Dukkha and all that. But when we want to learn the massive Dukkha, we have to go to the Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana and that major framework of the Dukkha. So this is what the Buddha was teaching on that day. And then what happened? Mahakala listened to the Dhamma talk. And Chulakala also followed the elders. Actually, his intention was, if he becomes a monk, I also become a monk, but my intention is bring him back to the lay life. That was his purpose. And the next para, somewhat later, until here.
Somewhat later, Mahakala made his full profession, and approaching the teacher, asked him, "How many duties are there in this religion?" The teacher informed him that there were 2. Said Mahakala, "Venerable, since I became a monk in old age, I shall not be able to fulfill the duty of study, but I can fulfill the duty of contemplation." So he had the teacher instruct him in the practice of meditation in a cemetery, which leads to arahantship. At the end of the first watch, when everyone else was asleep, he went to the cemetery, and at dawn, before anyone else had risen, he returned to the monastery.
Okay, great. Now, what happened was that Mahakala, now he became a monk, but Mahakala understood that when you become a monk at that time, you have 2 things to fulfill. One is studying Dhamma and also practicing meditation, cultivation separately. And he said to the Buddha, "I am very old, I cannot learn this." At that time, no books, right? All these Dhamma, they were in oral tradition. It's very difficult to sometimes memorize all that. That's a big, that means we are very lucky, right? In today's world, we have characters and all that. So he said, "I want to pick up the meditation, contemplation part. I mean, just do that thing." So he wanted to make sure that I'm the right candidate to choose that option, because sometimes Buddha does not allow. You have to study Dhamma, Without that, you cannot do the meditation. Actually, this is a problem in today's world. Some people, without learning some amount of Dhamma, they jump into the meditation. It's very dangerous. How dangerous is that? Because meditation is a very broad area with regard to you are doing by yourself. A lot of things are coming. You don't know what are they. You don't know how to handle them. So when you learn Satipatthana Sutta, that is the most important one, Mahachattarika Sutta, Anapanasati Sutta, then you know this is what that is coming in my mind right now. Without that, you immediately go to a retreat and okay, now I do meditation, and sometimes, or quite often, you don't know where you end up. That's why it's very important to. That's why he was curious about that thing. What did the Buddha tell me? Actually, Buddha understood that he has done the Dhamma study in his previous lives. He has done it in ways. So he can recommend him to go for the cultivation part, because he had the cultivation already. Even though he was a businessman, in his past lives, he had done that. So what happened? The Buddha asked him, okay, you can do the meditation cultivation practice in a cemetery. So what happened? It practice meditation in a cemetery, which leads to arahantship. It can help you to become an arahant. So what happened? When everyone, there is a rule when you do it in the cemetery, you cannot stay 24 hours in that place. You must go to the cemetery. I mean, as a monk, I'm talking this incident. You must only go when all the other monks went to sleep. Then only you can leave the temple. And before all of them wake up, you must go back to the temple. That's the rule of going to a cemetery as a monk for this kind of a meditation. You know why? Then you have to inform the person who is taking care of the cemetery and the head monk in the vihara and also the village officer. Because at that time, some thieves stealing money, they were running to evade the government officials. What they do is they come to the cemetery, they bury it, and then they go away. So anybody who is in the cemetery will be caught wrongly as those who took the money. That's why officials wanted to make sure that somebody who is going to the cemetery is following the proper procedure, monk or anybody. All right, so then we will be asking you, right? Yes, please pass the mic. You are going to read. Now, a certain young woman, that's a very long paragraph, so I would like you to stop at, here, Venerable. So you're going to be reading from here. Now a certain
young woman of station was attacked by a disease. At the very moment the disease attacked her, she died. In the evening, without a sign of old age or weakness. In the evening, her kinsfolk and friends brought her body to the burning ground with firewood, oil, and other requisites, and say to the keeper of a burning ground, "Burn this body and paying the keeper the usual fee, they turned the body over to her and departed. When the keeper of the burning ground removed the woman's dress and beheld her beautiful golden-hipped body, she straightway thought of herself. This corpse is suitable subject of meditation to show to his reverence. So she went to the venerable, paid obeisance to him, and said, I have a remarkably good subject of meditation. Pray look at it, venerable. Very well, said the venerable.
Okay, so what happened was a very different incident. I mean, we look at this kind of a situation a little differently than how it happened during the Buddha's time. So what happened? The caretaker in the cemetery was named as Kali, and she saw one monk was there and then going back. And one day, with her family people, they approached him and said, "If you can follow that rule, procedure, you come here after everybody sleeps in your temple, and then go back before all of them wake up, and also by informing me, informing the village officer and the head monk in the temple, I can allow you to stay here." So I had to be responsible for all that. Then what he told was that, okay, I will follow all those things, but if I can see a certain object for me to practice Asubha meditation, let me know. And this is how this Kali, this caretaker lady, found out. There was a young woman passed away all of a sudden, and her body was taken to the cemetery, and she's supposed to burn it now. But before she's going to burn that body, he asked the monk to come and see the dead body. All right, and then we are asking you to read. So he went up until here, faculties.
So he went and caused the dress which covered the corpse to be removed, and surveyed the body from the soles of the feet to the tips of the hair. Then he said, "Throw this beautiful golden-hued body into the fire, and as soon as the tongues of fire have laid hold of it, please tell me." So saying, he went to his own place and sat down. The keeper of the burning ground did as she was told and went and informed the venerable. The venerable came and surveyed the body. Where the flames had touched the flesh, the color of the body was like that of a molted cow. The feet stuck out and hung down. The hands were curled back. The forehead was without skin. The venerable thought to himself, this body, which but now caused those who look thereon to forget the sacred words, has but now attained decay, has but now attained death. And going to his 9 quarters, he sat down, discerning clearly decay and death. Mahakala developed spiritual insights and attained arahatship together with the supernatural faculties.
Okay, now what happened? Before she's going to, the caretaker of the cemetery was going to throw into the fire, he was able to see, and then after that he also came again, and then he saw what has happened to the burned body, and then he was thinking, contemplating about what he saw before, what he saw after, and then in his way he was able to attain Nibbana at that point. Okay, this is what we know. And then the next one, we're reading when Mahakala attained arahantship until disciples.
When Mahakala attained arahatship, the Buddha, surrounded by the congregation of monks, travelled from place to place, arrived at Satavia, and entered the Simsapa forest. Chulakala's wives, hearing that the Buddha had arrived, thought to themselves, "Now we shall recover our husband." So they went and invited the Buddha. Now when a visit is expected from the Buddha, it is customary for a single monk to go in advance and give warning. When Chulakala went home to prepare for almsgiving, his wives tore off his robes. Mahakala's 8 wives also thought that they would get their husband to give up the robes. One day, they arranged an almsgiving for the Buddha and the disciples and asked the Buddha to leave Mahakala behind to pronounce the formula of thanksgiving after almsgiving. The Buddha left him at his former home and went away with the other disciples.
Okay, it's going to be very tough for some monks. That's why you have to know why they are inviting Dana, right? Now in this story we know that Mahakala had 8 wives, Majjhimakala had 4 wives, and Chulakala had 2 wives. So that means Buddha's time, the marriage culture is polygamy. It's not monogamy, right? So then when someone is involved in adultery, means someone is going above those women. If you have, this is something that you know in present culture in some religions. So that's why you see King Kosala had lots of women, and then in this case 8, 4, 2. Perhaps it might have been decided whether you can afford taking care of them, right? Anyway, what happened? Now Chulakala is a monk now. He is always trying to bring his brother back. Now brother became an Arahant. During this time, Buddha made a trip to this area from somewhere. So Setavya and in Sinsapa forest. At that time, Chulakala's wives, so how many wives? 2 wives. They were devising a plan. So normally when the Buddha is going for a dana, anything, there is one monk is going before, maybe day before, to check everything. This is how the Buddha is, how you have to arrange this and that. It's good because it's very important, right? And then what happened? Chulakala went there. So what happened? He wanted to give the warning, but he became the warning after that. Right? What happened? Chulakala was, actually it is not here mentioned, Chulakala was saying, you have to arrange these seats for young ones and these seats for senior monks, junior, senior. Then the wives used that to entice him. He said, how come you are telling all this? Did you tell us before you becoming a monk? Right? They used that argument, logic. Now you are telling us to do this and that because Buddha is coming tomorrow. So they tore off his clothes and made him a layperson. So what happened? Then, now he had a duty. He went back to tell the Buddha, I became a layperson, but you can go there tomorrow. Now Mahakala, the Arahant monk who was in the cemetery, his wives, 8 wives, also thought, okay, this could be a good thing to do for Mahakala as well. So then what was the plan? Next day when the Buddha came, I think it is here already. Yeah? Okay, I think we will ask someone to read that part. The next one to read, yes. When the Buddha reached and Mahakala, Chulakala.
When the Buddha reached the village gate, the congregation of monks was offended and said, what a thing for a Buddha to do. Did he do it wittingly or unwittingly? Yesterday, Chulakala came and that was the end of his monastic life. But today, a different monk came and nothing of the sort happened. The Buddha sent Mahakala back and continued on his way. Said the monks, the monk Mahakala is virtuous and upright. Will they put an end to his monastic life? Mahakala's wife tried to make him a layman, but he rose into the air through his psychic power as an Arahant and appeared before the Buddha as he was reciting these 2 verses. Monk Mahakala paid obeisance to the Buddha, and the Buddha told the other monks that they were wrong about Arahant Mahakala to compare him with monk Chulakala.
Okay, I think this long story is short. What happened, when Buddha or any monk goes to a dana place, after the dana, one monk has to give a Dhamma talk after the dana. That is a customary thing, because just to make people happy about what they have done, because there may be some people who might not have the proper attitude after the dana, because until you give, you are okay, but after you gave, sometimes some worries can start. That's why it is a very customary thing for one monk to stay. So what happened now, Mahakala's wives, they thought it's a good moment to tell the Buddha, leave Mahakala home and you all can leave. They want to use that time to do the same thing for him. So what happened? Mahakala is an Arahant monk. Nobody can do anything to him. So what happened, when Arahant Mahakala started the Dhamma, Prince Dhamma talk, and they all came nearby and tried to defrock him, disrobe him and all that. At that same time, what happened? Arahant Mahakala used his psychic powers, Iddhi, and then left through the house roof at that point, and then appeared in the Dhirana. Actually, Buddha noticed all that. Buddha knew this would happen, and then that's why he was telling monks these two stanzas. What are the stanzas? Now, what happened? Actually, Chulakala is the first version. Chulakala's version is the first stanza. Now, who is Chulakala? Always going for the happy, nice object. Doesn't want to see the unpleasant nature in life as well. Indriyesu was no management with regard to, no restraint with regard to his senses. He ate here and there. He was very lazy, no energy. That is why those former wives could take him down. But the good version, second stanza, number 8, we go there. You can see here. Asubhanu passing viharantang indriye sususangutang bojanam hichamattanyung saddang aradda viriyang tangve nappasahati maru vatu selang vapabbatang. Arahant Mahakala is also looking at both the pleasant and unpleasant nature of life. Actually, may I ask you, is it helpful for us to see the unpleasant nature of our pleasant things time to time? Can that help us not to get addicted? If you think it is working, so tell me an example how you made that happen in your life. Huh? Or have you done the reverse psychology? Right? Someone who is very fat and saying, I have a problem, I am very chocoholic, I don't know how to control my chocolate habits. And a reverse psychology is saying, okay, keep eating chocolate. At one point you will feel disgusted about the chocolates. But that is not going to be working for people who are doing drugs, right? And being alcoholic. What if those people keep doing those habits? Don't know where they're going to end up, right? Sometimes psychologists may use this as a technique, thinking that a child is going to touch a plug which has some leaked electricity, right? And parents are going to stop. But the reverse psychologist is saying, okay, let him touch. And he touch, he feel the shock. And then next time even you ask, no, there's danger. I don't want to touch that plug. I mean, that reverse psychology is not working for everything, right? It's a psychological stuff. So here what we understand is that actually when we see the unpleasant nature, we can avoid a lot of problems in our life. So do you have any other example you can share with us? Yes, over there. Can you?
There's something unpleasant for me to see my mom so sickly, and I see her and I say I don't want to be like her, so I try to be more healthy. So seeing something that is bad, but then seeing her that she's bad, but I know I cannot be like that. I need to be healthy myself.
Yeah. Is it the age kind of?
Yeah, she's
frail
aging.
Nature?
Frail.
Yeah.
Yes, she's aging. Yeah.
senile nature. Okay, and how about you? You have something to share also. So if others cannot say anything, I still think you are the first version, Chula Kala version. I mean, not Mahakala version. Okay.
Bhante, I don't know whether this is relevant to this or not, but what happened, yesterday, I was like reading this news in India about this girl who was murdered by this mother-in-law who's a judge, and the husband is actually a lawyer. It's a big case now going on in India. Mm-hmm. She's been dead for 10 days. She's been married for 5 months. So like what you just said just now, it started with watching the story, then it's like, you started, because I'm also a mother and a daughter, and I also have a daughter, and I'm like, oh my God, this can happen to educated families, like, it's like, and basically they're investigating, and because the mother-in-law is powerful, a judge, so the whole system is like protection, people are protecting everything, it's a big case, and so because the media is involved. But like what you said, it's not a good thing. I started watching, it became an obsession, started watching, and then after that it's like, I was depressed, and I'm thinking it's like such a negative thing to like even paying I was really busy, but then it became like a cycle. So I don't know whether this is related to this, but this is like this whole thing of negativity that affects you like psychologically sometimes when looking at how pain affects people. And what was really, why I'm sharing this story is that a country which contains 1/6 of the world population, and apparently women are murdered this way because of dowry debts so frequently. So it's just like scary, and it's like depressing as well. So I don't know whether this is the opposite of that.
Let us connect this to that. So watching horrific incidents. Sometimes you cannot avoid. These things will appear on your feed. On your feed, social media, yeah. But that story itself shows that education only cannot make someone disciplined, right? Those are very highly educated people, and also, when you are so educated in certain countries, you get some power behind. Everybody's scratching their backs. You have immunity, right? The other judges don't want to say anything because they are part of the group cohort. So I think you see a very a very corrective world everywhere in the world. Suddenly, when these things happen, we see something is missing in that particular world, that pleasant world that everybody wants to be. What is the process of becoming a judge like that, right? How many things to go through, right? But finally, this happens, and you see that the imagined pleasant world that we are creating all the time is also very fleeting. It is not always pleasant, right? So I think that is how we're going to connect, that it is not always Subha, right? Even such things can happen from such good people. It's not even this incident. There are so many incidents that are happening daily across the world, not even in India, everywhere in the world. So I think whenever we see that, we have to think that there's no suggested corrective world that we can see in this globe, that every world is going through their own pros and cons. So finally it is Asubha as well. It is not always Subha. The world, now think about America and the shootings, the level of shootings and the hate crimes and all that. How have they escalated? How much they have escalated everywhere in the world, right? So that means earlier somebody wants to go to America to become a better person, to do well. But I think it's a time for them to move out sometimes, right? Depending on how we see it, right? So that's why I think we don't have to set standards for a better life sometime with all these things, because theirs can also go through Asubha. So I think in our life, being able to see the beauty sometime little differently is also necessary. I think because even if you look at the rapist, those perverts, and some other many people who are stressed, who are depressed, or who are doing trouble to other people, they always hypothesize their own sexual fantasies, right, through other people. But if they could understand, right, that there is the opposite also happening in our world, I think they could really deal with their own problems. Right? Sometimes those things are also happening from highly educated people as well, not even the poor, uneducated people. So I think it is very important even for us, sometimes, not always, sometimes to have the understanding of the Asubha as well. And then Indriya Susangutang, Arahan Mahakala was very much restrained in his senses, his eyes, his nose, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, and he was really, this is very interesting, Bhojanam Picha Mattanyo. Being able to moderate food is very important because it's a part of our Dhamma practice. A lot of people think eating habits, drinking habits are not part of Dhamma practice. Right? No, they are part of Dhamma practice. Because if you are eating unhealthy, if you are eating compulsively, then it can affect your Dhamma practice. How can it affect your Dhamma practice? Now, one very important thing in a non-harmful way is that, let's say you have a body that you don't like, you are physically not happy about yourself, your body image awareness. So, what you are cultivating is negativity towards yourself. Right? And on the other hand, you see people, nice people on the internet. Maybe they are AI images sometimes. Right? Right? Maybe not. So then, when you are not fit, I mean, at least to some extent, then when you see fit people, I think that can give you a negativity. Right? So that negativity is not good. That's why it's very important to manage your eating habits. And also, saddang. Here, saddang means you have trust about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and also yourself, self-confidence. This also has self-confidence. Is it very important to have the self-confidence? How people bring their self-confidence in their daily life? Tell me one way how people feel confident, create their self-confidence. Yes. Okay, that's the attitude. That means creating a right, proper attitude to you is very important to have the self-confidence. Other things, other physical things. Abused by others, not to be abused by. That is very important, right? I mean, what are our human world rights? That is important. Sometimes you will be abused because you don't know who you are. And another very small thing, small self-confidence. What are you doing to boost your self-confidence? Self-affirmation. What about doing some beauty stuff, doing a makeup, and you feel good to go out of your house? Self-confidence. Right? Talk about those small things. You comb nicely, you dress well. Right? You know that these are temporary, but you do it because you feel good about it. Because some people, they cannot come to that level. Right? I think we have to start self-confidence from those external small things and then go to attitude change, positivity and all that. So, Saddha has that part too. But if you are going to be too much into cosmetics, makeup, then that is another problem. I'm talking a very light, general, normal kind of thing. Aradha Viryam. Aradha Viryam means your energy is always Aradha. Aradha, you can see here. Aradha, strong. Strong, Viryam effort. So your Virya is always strong. How to stay strong in our energy? What should we do? Those are physical things, right? Exercises and then good sleep, eating good food, associating Kalyana Mitras, right? Positivity, those are mostly coming from outside sometimes. And then internally, the Buddha talks about how to create strong energy. I mean, we call it as effortless effort. So there are 4 things to do. Number 1 is preventing akusala. You try to prevent akusala. That is a very good energy. Right? Let's say you are a very good person, but because of some other things, you are affected. Or maybe you know certain things that should not happen in your life. You are trying not to let them happen. Second is how to create good energy. You are going to remove any akusala that you have. Third and fourth, they are about kusala. You are going to create new kusalas. What is a new kusala? Huh? Good habits. Yeah, good habits. One very good habit that you would like to develop, can you share with us? What is a good habit that you want to create, that you know from others but you haven't done it yet? Huh? Get up early. Why we have to get up early? It's better to get up early. Morning mind is more important than afternoon, evening mind. Sometimes you see when you wake up in the morning and then you spend 3-4 hours with whatever you do, whatever your things. Sometimes you have lots of hours afternoon, evening. You cannot be that productive that time. Morning mind is very energetic. That's the time the brain is starting to work, calibrating start. So then, now everybody knows that you are not a morning person, right? What to do, right? This is Dhamma, right? You got to be honest. Without being honest, you cannot talk about Dhamma. But anyway, we have to accept that, right? So, that is one thing. Another thing, another very good thing that you want to create in your life.
Always smile.
Always smile. Be happy. Okay, always positive, right? Well, you cannot smile without being positive, right? That's a good thing, right? Are you like that? Oh, you demand only you smile, I smile. So I mean, right? Okay, another very good habit to create. Anger. That's a very important thing, right? Sometimes we are very good people until we become angry, right? When you become angry, we become the most terrible, most difficult person in the world. But we go to Dhamma talks, everything. We haven't done, and we cannot say we haven't done anything at that point. We done everything, but still that. So what is actually going through? That means, although you learn a lot of metta teachings, lot of anger management things, but if you are not making an effort to do it during the anger time, then you are not going to benefit from that. I think I will tell you a short story before we finish for that. Now, when you have this kind of attitude with regard to being positive, having energy, then you are going to be a rock, selang, mountain that a wind cannot shake. Mountain is not going to be shaken because of the wind. Okay, going back to anger management. Actually, this is a personal experience. I was the principal in a Dhamma school in Vancouver a long time ago, for 5 years. And then we hired someone, force recruited, somebody who has double PhD. Think about it. Should be a very talented man. One PhD for something about sciences, another one is for, I think, cognitive therapy. One from Germany, one from Canada. So, and he happily accepted. So, and he's teaching the advanced class. So, what I understood was that he always teaches one subject now for many weeks, almost like 4 months now. What is it? Anger management. You know, teenagers, I mean, they are not like very inquisitive about one subject. You know, their attention span is very short, right? Not like you, because you have spent your life so you can think about more. So what happened when he goes to the class after 4-5 months in this subject? So before he comes, somebody said, "Oh, anger management 2 today." You know, that means they know that what he's going to teach. So everybody was like, you know, teenagers, and he observed that he was not happy, and he was blaming everybody in the class. You should be ashamed of picking on the teacher like that. So what happened? And he informed me, I'm not coming to the class anymore. And these students are like that. So what happened was that I had to ask a couple of students to come and ask them what really went. And they said, Yes, it was very wrong for us to laugh at that point. But we think he also shouldn't have been angry because he's been teaching us anger management for 4 months. How come he can be angry? So they had a practical point. Right? So now you understand, even by teaching anger management for 4 months, even the teacher could not keep the temper. He lost the temper. That means anger is such a very powerful thing. That means we have to get ready for this. Actually, my suggestion is that don't think very lightly about a meditation for anger. You need to watch your anger in that particular real moment. See how you are going to become angry. Normally when you become angry, you justify your anger. I have to be angry, otherwise these people will make mistakes. So then you understand creating kusala, maintaining kusala, preventing akusala, removing akusala it's the Buddhist energy, the aradha virya. So when you have it, nobody can put you down. Mara has no opportunity to put you down. Otherwise Mara will use as a football, kick the football. You go here, you come here, you go there. You will be scored by somebody finally. That's why it's very important to watch our mental states as they happen, not only in a meditation. Our meditation is our life. Morning to evening is our meditation. It's not even sitting down, it's always watching what is happening in our mental. So we train us over the course of time. Okay, so the moral of the stanzas 7 and 8 of Dhammapada today is that not to become an opportunity for Mara to put you down. You need to become the Mahakala, the 8th version, not the Dhammapada 7th version, where you are just taken away by pleasant objects. You have no moderation with regard to your food, and you are not restrained, calm in your senses. And you have what you call, you can see here, and you are very lazy and you are having no energy. Don't become that person. If you become that person, understand you are already taken away by the Mara. Don't need to be an opportunity for Mara. Be the opportunity for your enlightenment, your Kusala journey. So you reverse this journey back. Alright, so we will now take 1 or 2 minutes to ask any questions. That's the timing. Anybody who has a question about today, please raise your hand. Brother Tan will pass the mic on to you.
Any questions? Maybe I just give a brief, talking about anger management. So I think you're all happy here hearing about anger management, but the moment you walk down and see your car being blocked and you don't get angry, I think then you So I'll try to block somebody's car and see how they react. Okay, any questions? I think everybody...
Well, Bhante, I want to ask, is losing our patience is also an anger phenomenon? I mean, I'm not angry, but I'm losing patience.
Interesting. Actually, losing patience happens when there are conditions for you to lose that. So, let us say that someone is not behaving the way you want in your household, right? Then you are losing your temper. Of course, you're becoming frustrated and you're becoming angry at the end. So that means, yes, it is anger, because that it is the way to become angry at the end. There could be an early level of anger rising. Actually, one issue in that issue is that perfectionism, because we always, when we have an attitude about life, relationship, money, we always follow that. A means A, not B. Sometimes A can be B, right? It's like that. I mean, when you have a bucket of sand, you just throw it into a pile of bucket of sand, and when somebody might say, okay, another person has a bucket of sand as well. Say, oh, 2 buckets of sand. But when you throw into the pile of sand, it will become 1. Sometimes A is not A all the time. A can be B. I think we have to leave some alternatives for our perfectionism. So then I think answer is losing patience is definitely the first part of the anger. When we create some alternatives to our perfectionism, to how we attitude, how we think about, I think we can overcome that issue. I mean, as long as you become angry, you are having patience. Once you become angry means you lost your patience. So I think it's all connected each other.
Yeah, Bhante, is it good sometimes that you just let the anger come and explode so that you feel better rather than suppressing it until one day you just explode?
That is a Western idea. I remember there was a place somewhere, I can't remember, Canada or America, that it is a place where someone can go when that person is angry and then break the stuff with some hedges. Japan.
Release,
but the problem is, what if that you are so angry but 2 miles to drive? You are so angry now, but you have to drive 2 miles and so traffic as well.
No, punch the wall until...
But you are driving.
Punch the wall.
You are driving.
Cause injury to yourself. Believe that, right?
Yes, so I think, well, we can look at in different ways. But Buddhism says that releasing anger and then trying to find out solutions cannot always be productive, because sometimes in order to materialize anger, one has to suffer a lot. Now think about, let us do it not with that kind of an attitude. Let's say you think you want to be angry at a family member. The words that you are using, very painful words, all the bad words. And that person will remember everything after that day for many decades. But you think you are happy, I released my anger. I think that is not going to be a very good attitude for a lot of things. But if you look at every mental state from a physical point of view, you might think that way. Right? Now think about instant anger. Even in the law, if someone had instant anger and then kill someone, there are immunities. Let's say people say, I don't know what happened, I was so angry, I did that thing. But if you were premeditating, planning, more punishments. So that's why it's not very important to encourage an idea to release it, because releasing is not always a good idea in that way. It can be ranging, right? Now think about a small girl like that wants to be unhappy about what she got, and she's nagging and and all that. That is a different thing. We are talking very very challenging, very dangerous kind of releasing. Think about someone say, I am very unhappy about the whole world, I want to explode a building. Then I am happy. Then I become a good. What is that idea like? That's very dangerous. That's why releasing the anger is not always acceptable in that way. I think better not to go to that level and then do other necessary things to protect. All right, we can take one more question if you have. Otherwise, we're going to. They are good people. They're not getting angry. So.
No.
Oh yeah, there is no question about it.
Let out some.
Over there, yes. There, yes.
Let us compare to the tires of the
Yes, Bhante,
They call the automobile shop. So, yes.
not a question, but just a personal experience. Sometimes when I get frustrated driving, I'll just shout inside the car. And then that's gone.
You shout.
I just shout inside the car, and the anger is gone.
Ah.
Yeah, just let it out inside the car. I don't, of course, not anyone. I just shout it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's gone.
But can you shout at other times too? Because shouting is your now methodology.
Yeah.
Is in the car, you are alone. But your anger is not promising only to come in the car alone. It can come anytime. So then how can you do that?
I will shout quietly. I will mentally.
You are disturbing yourself too much.
Just once, then it's gone.
Now the problem is, not shouting aloud, shouting silently. Shouting is the problem here. Now we are looking at, okay, I'm telling so many bad things to me or bad things to others without telling. What Buddhism says? Does Buddhism say the impact of the words more important or impact of the intention behind the words more serious? Intention matters. Chetana. So let's say you are shouting at somebody, right? Or to you. So you are demonizing yourself. You are demonizing. You are blaming yourself. You are a bad person. Yeah, that's the thing. When you are blaming yourself, we sometimes worry happens to us. When you worry about something, you can get better. But the thing is, when you are blaming yourself, just like someone go and take their life, it's also a blame, right? What did I do? I'm such a bad person. I'm such a stupid person. That is the higher version of you. I hope that you're not going to that level. But it's better to solve it in a nice way. Maybe you can say, I'm brother Eo. Why did I do that? Let me be a good person next time. Why to shout at yourself? You find a better way to talk to yourself. That is better. I like when you talk to yourself. Self-talk is very important. But don't talk in a negative way. Yes, you did something wrong. Everybody makes mistake in their own ways. But create a connection with you in a nice, positive way. And then, it's nice. And then that shout will become some sort of mentoring inside of you. Right? I think we do that. The thing is that we didn't say that to you. You are saying the shouting part. So then, internally, accept yourself, and then tell nicer to you. Create a good connection to you. Get to know you. Don't get to know others before. All right? Because when you try to blame yourself, sometimes there might be an anger, subtle anger that is arising, All right. So I think with that, let us wrap this up. So then we are going to finish Dhammapada stanzas number 7 and 8. Brother Tan, may I know the next class? When is the next class?
The next
June
7.
June 7? Okay. Only June 7. One class for the whole month?
7 and 21. 2 classes.
7 and 21. Okay, good. Okay, so we are looking forward to that day. So now let us transfer all the good karmas we've been doing today. May all these good karmas we've been making today be transferred to all departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayu. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayu. May Deva Naga Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness, including your loved ones in your family. May Devanaga Mahidika finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha amhehe sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehe sambatang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sangpadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasatthacha bhummattha deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu sasana. Akasatthacha bhummattha deva naga Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang. Akasatthacha bhummattha deva naga Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakha tumang parang chirang rakhang tutvan sadati. Next is Dhamma wish. This is about Kalyana, the importance of being with Kalyana Mittas. Kalyana Mittas are those who have more Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. Let us be always surrounded with Kalyana Mittas who have more Saddha, Sila, Chaga, Panya. If not, let us associate those who have equal level of those qualities. And for rest of the other people, we are going to have lots of metta with them. So maybe become surrounded by Kalyana Mittas, maybe become Kalyana Mittas to as many sentient beings as we meet in our sansaric lives till we attain it. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today by learning Dhammapada's 7th and 8th stanzas and learning about the importance of not being a victim of the Mara, but being an opportunity for our enlightenment, our Kusala journey. Be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siddhissa niccang vaddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sangpatti sagga sangpatti mevacha ato nibbana sangpatti iminate samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now you may respect. You want to say something to the...
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhante, for the sharing today. So let's do the conclusion of today's session. Let us all kneel. In concluding today's session, a very wonderful session, we have discovered verse 7 and 8 of the Dhammapada. Okay, we are in the process of generating a lot of good merits. Let us reaffirm our faith and refuge in the triple gems. I bow before the compassionate Buddha, the supremely enlightened one who shows the way to liberation. Bow. I bow before the glorious Dhamma, the Buddha's teaching that leads from darkness to spiritual light. I bow. I bow before the Holy Sangha, the fellowship of Buddha's disciples that inspires and guides. I bow.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, on behalf of the Shalam Buddhist Society, we'd like to give a Navakamma to Bhante, and also for those who like to give Navakamma, can take the on the red paper.
This is your first day, or you've been here before, right? First time. Okay, good. See.